Yo, what is up guys, it's Pedro here, and in today's video we'll be talking about Myles Garrett again and how he just said something about Jayden Daniels and how he would like to play with Jayden Daniels and the Washington Commanders. Also, we talking about something Malik Nabers said about Jayden Daniels and a bunch of other things that the media at the Super Bowl, they've been talking about the Commanders and some other players like Sainristil. So if you guys are new, make sure to subscribe. We're about 100 subscribers away from 15,000 subscribers. Let's do it before the Super Bowl. It's free, takes 1 second. Less than 40% of y'all are subscribed. I'll be doing a giveaway at 15K. So I made a video yesterday about Myles Garrett, and that one was more specifically talking about what he said originally and then just talking about a trade in general. So if you want a more in-depth video, go ahead and watch that after this one. But this one, I'm just going to be talking about what he said. So he was asked by Mina Kimes, shout out to her for asking the question, talking about, different quarterbacks he wants to play for. And, there's obviously the big names, the stars that have been in the league for a while, but what do you think about playing for a youngster like Jayden Daniels? And then he said, absolutely. He looked great. He looked great when we played him. He showed his behind when he was in the playoffs. He's really done it. He's been really composed throughout the entire season. So definitely isn't a team that he would be against going to. Is it the top, top of his list? I don't know, but I think it would definitely be a team he's open for. Yesterday, if you missed it, again, you can check out my video, but long story short, Sports Illustrated was interviewing him. He basically said, he would be down to go to the Commanders. Obviously he's not going to answer, directly say that, but he was basically saying, they need a pass rusher and I can fill that role. He said that. And that's something to watch out for as well is, how this whole thing transpires. It's going to take a lot, minimum of a first-round pick, probably 2 first-round picks, and maybe a player. If it's not 2 first-round picks, it's going to be a first-round pick, a second-round pick, probably another pick in like 2026, and then a decent player. That's what I would think, but it's going to take a lot, but, I think it's worth it. Myles Garrett is an elite player. He is a top 3 defender in all of football, I believe, and might be the best defender in football. Him, TJ Watt, Micah Parsons, Fred Warner, like those are the names he's with, and he is a absolute stud. And I believe he's the reigning defensive player of the year. Not completely sure. There might have been TJ Watt, but he's up there. So that's the Myles Garrett talk. Again, watch out for it. But he's publicly talking about it a lot. And I think he's trying to get it out there. And I think it's just a matter of time before he moves on. I don't think it's a contract thing because I'm pretty sure Cleveland would give him whatever he wants. I think he just wants to win. And I don't think he's, thinks he can win in Cleveland. And I think Cleveland is in a good spot to trade him. I really do. Yeah, it would be great to have him. But here's the thing. The roster, it's not awful, but it's not great. It's not ready to win now, especially with Woodson under contract. You have the, number 2 overall pick, I believe. You can take basically whatever quarterback you want. I mean, maybe the Titans will take one, but you can take the quarterback you want if you want to take one this year. So if you do that, plus trade Garrett for multiple high picks, then you're setting yourself up for a really good rebuild possibly. And you don't have to take QB. You can take whatever, Travis Hunter or whoever, and then next year take a top QB. I don't know. That's just something to watch out for, as well. I know I keep on saying that. Charles Woodson was asked today, I believe, by Mitch Tischler, asked about Mike Sainristil, and he said that one of my top players to ever play at University of Michigan, one of his favorites, talked about how at Michigan when Will Johnson got hurt, Sainristil had to switch from the inside to the outside and guard the best receiver, and he did that really well, and he noticed that he had to do that this year too and did a really, really good job at it. So just cool to see that, and that he's still keeping up with his Michigan guys, and that he thinks really highly of him out of all the years since he's been there, which I'm trying to think, like 98-ish. I think that's around when he was there at Michigan when they won the Natty. I mean, since then, for Sainristil to be one of his favorite players to ever play at Michigan, that's some high praise because they've had a lot of really good players. I'm not completely sure when Woodson got drafted, but I believe it was around 98-ish, 99, right around when Brady did get drafted. And then the last thing was Malik Nabers, who obviously is boys with Jayden Daniels. That's his best friend, one of his best friends, him. Ryan Thomas and Jayden are all good friends, and he was asked which QB in NFL history he would want to catch passes from. He said Jayden Daniels, and said you never know on the possibility of catching passes from Jayden in the future. And I don't know. I don't think it's wild to say because it's your boy, but as a that quarterback's in your division, and to say that's the guy you want to catch passes from, I don't know. If I'm a Giants fan, I think I would feel a certain type of way about that. If let's say Terry was asked, "Oh, who do you want to catch passes from?" and he says Jalen Hurts, like, come on, what are you doing there? And obviously Terry would never do that, but it's just an example. I guess the Giants don't really have a quarterback, but right now that can throw Malik the ball, but still, it's kind of crazy that he's saying that. At least as a Giants fan, I would feel a little bit, I don't know. That would be my reaction. But hey, as a Commanders fan, I love it. And I think Malik, obviously the Giants are going to do whatever they can to keep him, but I think getting him in DC here, if he hits free agency, it'll happen. But I think it's going to be hard for him to hit free agency because they'll always have that franchise tag option. But hey, they let Saquon Barkley get out of the building, and he went to the Eagles. That was really the only way possible it was going to happen. So yeah, it is what it is, but the only way it happens is through free agency, because the Giants would not trade Malik Nabers to the Washington Commanders. Yeah, so I would love Malik Nabers here in 3-4 years. I guess it would be longer, honestly. That's so long, down the line, but he's got 4 more years on his rookie contract if that fifth year option gets picked up, which it probably will be. So 4 more years plus the franchise tag, that's 5 years. That's 5 years, and at that point, maybe Terry's retiring, and you get Malik in as a number 1, and maybe Terry's still there, and he's your number 2-ish receiver, and the last year or 2 of his career. But just some interesting talk. We're Super Bowl weekend right now, or week, so not a ton to talk about, but also a lot to talk about at the same time. Jayden was on the Pat McAfee show today. You guys can watch that, of course. It's cool to see him talk about the Hail Mary. Interesting conversations about him and Cliff Kingsbury, what they do, what their relationship is. So how they install the offense, how he feels about certain things, and if he doesn't like it in practice, he'll go ahead and tell Cliff, you know what, I don't really like this. Let's throw this out the playbook for this week, and maybe Cliff will be like, all right, let's try one more time. And he talked about that. His mom was there. They talked about that, Pat McAfee, and he's been on a bunch of shows too. So make sure to check that out. I might make a video on it, but it's a very minor thing. But the Commanders did sign running back, I believe, from USC, Michael Wiley, who was obviously in DC for the season, or I believe he was on the practice squad, but obviously was in training camp in the preseason and made some good plays, but just didn't make the roster. They signed him to a futures deal, so he's going to be in Washington for the offseason until they want to move on from him or until he makes the roster. So just another thing to keep your eyes out for is Michael Wiley, and then just other guys that they signed to futures deals, because they have a lot of guys that they need to re-sign, and they have a lot of free agents compared to other teams. So they have a lot of cap space. Some of that cap space, so is going to have to go to re-signing those guys. But that's it for today's video. Hope you guys did enjoy. If you did, hit that like button, subscribe if you guys are new, and peace.